Today's video is all about how the menstrual cycle can affect your climbing. So this is going to be about my journey and my story rather than just kind of like what you should be doing. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, not a healthcare professional. Anything that I'm sharing in this video, if it doesn't suit you, it doesn't suit you. So let's get into it. So a little backstory about me and my climbing journey. I am currently 29. I started climbing when I was like 21 back in 2017 or so, and I found climbing through my local gym at the time, Tallahassee Rock Gym. Shout out to them. They're now known as Alchemy Climbing, so if you're in the Tallahassee area in Florida, check them out. I started climbing then, and I just fell in love with it. That's how I ended up meeting Noah. We were in the same climbing group through our college, and I found pretty quickly that I wasn't necessarily in the best headspace. I sometimes found that if I was rope climbing, I would have panic attacks on the wall. I just mentally was not doing very well. And lo and behold, for me, I just found out that my hormonal birth control at the time was just really throwing me for a loop. It was not well suited for me. And in turn, my menstrual cycle and my climbing were really waiting for the route setters. So at the time, I had absolutely no knowledge about my own menstrual cycle, how my birth control interacted with it, and I just knew that I wasn't in the best place and I wasn't feeling really well, and something was going on with my body that was also affecting my mindset and affecting my climbing. I went on this big journey of just trying to understand my menstrual cycle more and trying to understand just the fluctuations throughout the month and how it affected my climbing. So I went on this deep dive, read a lot of different books. I'll link them in the description. And I was able to figure out that I was not adjusting my climbing to my cycle and what my body needed. And so therefore my body was just protesting. It was not happy. And so I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I did that have really helped, and just over the past 7 years, how I've now tailored my climbing journey to not fight my menstrual cycle, but instead kind of flow with it. Okay, I'm gonna see if I get this right. Oftentimes I will mix up the 4 phases in the menstrual cycle, but I believe technically they count it as starting on menstruation. So that's when you're actually bleeding. And then we go into the follicular phase, and that's the phase after you're done with your period. And that's kind of when hormones are starting to kind of raise again. I will attach a little chart here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then from follicular, that's when we go into the ovulatory phase. For me personally, that's one of the times I feel strongest. And that's because of certain hormones that again are peaking. And then we're going to go into the luteal phase. And for me personally, luteal phases can be kind of rough. I'm somebody that struggled with PMDD, and so if you never heard of that before, here's a description of it, look into it. But yeah, I struggled with PMDD, and so that would really affect my climbing. So the luteal phase is for me when I feel the weakest, and I'm not just talking physically, mentally, it's a really big thing for me. I noticed that I'm somebody that really loves dynamic moves and coordination moves. It hasn't always been like that, but that's something that I really enjoy, especially now. But when I'm in my luteal phase, I think my body is very protective of the fact that your body's oh, we could be gearing up for if you're getting pregnant. And so your body's trying to be more protective of danger and not putting yourself in situations that it doesn't feel comfortable in. So I find that mentally I really struggle during that phase to do dynamic and coordination moves. Once my period actually starts, that's when we're back into the menstrual phase. That's when we're back into we're actually your period starts and you're bleeding. I'm going to attach a chart. Again, not a healthcare professional, just trying to share my knowledge personally. And so I get a lot of these questions now. It's what should I do? How should I tailor my climbing to my menstrual cycle? Or I feel I'm really fighting my body during this time. What's going on? And I think the biggest component, and what I would really suggest you to do, is just do your own research. Do some deep dive into I'm saying, the different phases of the cycle, how your body's reacting, what your body needs for support during those times. There's so many things you can do, down to tailoring what food you eat. Certain times of your cycle, you might need to eat more, you might need more energy. because your body is doing a lot more. And then certain times also you just might be struggling a little bit more mentally. Oh, another thing about the luteal phase that I forgot to mention is the number of times that I've gotten injured. I can count on one hand, but almost every single time for me has been during my luteal phase. There's some studies out there that are showing that we're releasing a hormone during our luteal phase that relaxes certain parts of, I don't want to say muscles, tendons, I don't know what it is. Again, I will link the study. And because of that, I think you are a little bit more prone to getting injured, especially finger injuries. And so that's something I try to be really mindful of. Is the time I popped my pulley was 2 days before my period. I should have listened to my body, but I was trying extremely hard. I was trying to finish my project, and my body just wasn't having it. It said too much, too soon, not a good time. And yeah, ruptured my A4 pulley on, actually, I think it might have been this hand, A4 pulley on this hand. So yeah, be really mindful of just listening to your body. I think that's the best way to prevent injuries in general, but especially if you're somebody that experiences a menstrual cycle and you have those hormone fluctuations as opposed to people that do not experience menstrual cycles and have a little bit more of just a pretty steady hormone base. And then the other thing I was going to mention is during my period, I will feel really weak before my period, but then during my period, I actually feel pretty strong. And again, that's hormones related. I watched a video about Yanya, and she shared her experience about how some crazy number of times she's actually won competitions has been while she's on her period, which I find so badass. She's so amazing. But yeah, I'll link that video right here if you guys want to check it out. I thought it was really cool, and I appreciated her just talking about menstrual cycles. I think that it's something that will be a conversation more in the future, but it's not something that's a huge conversation right now, especially with athletes that experience menstrual cycles. So I would love to hear more. If you guys have any suggestions of people to listen to, podcasts, different social media posts, anything like that that talks about climbing athletes and their menstrual cycles, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious. As you guys heard from the very beginning of this video, my menstrual cycle was something I really struggled with at the very beginning, mainly because I had no idea what was going on with me. And I think when you have that sort of fear-based mindset and you just feel really off and mentally you're not very prepared for what's happening in your body, you're just oh my God, I feel out of control. What can I do? What can I do? But when I kind of gained that knowledge and when I was able to put it into practice and actually learn with my menstrual cycle, what benefited it, what I could do to support myself, I became so much stronger mentally and physically. I just used to avoid anything that was mentally challenging to me. And now I kind of understand that there's certain times in my cycle where I might need a little bit more support. But most of the time, I'm so capable. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so strong. And I think in some ways, it's actually taught me to love myself even more, which sounds cliche, but it's so true. If there's parts of yourself that you really hate or dislike or are constantly avoiding, then that's just gonna that's a part of you. That's something that we need to accept. And so I feel when I had that sort of acceptance period where I was able to teach myself that what's happening in my body is very normal. Though there are still times that I do struggle. And it's easier for me now to ask for support from other people. And so very grateful for that support as well. If you guys have other questions, I'd love to dive deeper into this. This is something I could talk about all day long, but I just wanted this video to kind of skim over my experience and talk a little bit more about menstrual cycles in general and what are some things that you might be experiencing that I might be experiencing as well. So this is just more to start a conversation. Again, if I misspoke at any part of the video, please be kind to me. This is a very vulnerable topic, and I think that I'm doing my best, but I'll try my best to link more resources from people that know way more than I do about this. So let me know if you have any questions, leave a comment, and hopefully we can dive more into this in future videos. Thanks for watching.